You're listening to Bedroom Beethovens, where notable music makers tell their stories on what they sacrificed to create the music you love.
It's just your genuine appreciation on a deep soul level for what artists do. And I love hearing that.
I'm your host, Cello.
What's up? This is J-Rock, and I'm right here. I'm chilling on the Bedroom Beethovens podcast. That's what it is. Let's go.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 186 of the podcast. My guest this week is...
My name is Ahwlee. I make beats. I produce for myself, Fly Anakin, Theravada, Mick Jenkins. I think those are noteworthy ones.
I've been seeing stone faces, now I'm taking me back. How I used to be, how I used to react. Riding around chasing the sun down, 2 doors, look at that. It's for my ex to play, it's for her man to play back. It's for that Escalade. Pops used to push back to back, trying to get my family straight. Lead them hoes where they at, and snakes in the grass. New cutter for that, riding around before winter. Smoke power for my ancestors, most of them be my niggas. It's for my mama and sister, for the dogs and my niggas. Stay away from the trap, or leave after you stack. Just got your money, that's that.
This week, Ali joins me for a talk about quitting weed for a year, growing up on the West Coast, ditching school, anime, music, vibing, which leads up to his collaboration with Pink Siifu, the 3rd studio LP entitled Leather Boulevard, supergroup Kool-Aid. It's due out March 31st via Lex Records. Thank you for another week of joining me on this little podcast where I take music producers and we talk about life or pretty much anything but making music, because I don't know how to make music, so I wouldn't even know what to ask. And if they answered it, I wouldn't even understand it. But if the other things that they do, live, see, and experience interests you, well, you're in the right place. Make sure to tell a friend. This podcast is available wherever podcasts can be found. So tell a buddy, tell your moms, tell the guy next to you sitting on the airplane. This podcast deserves to be listened to. And if you agree, I keep it ad-free. So patreon.com/Bedroom Beethovens. It keeps the lights on. You know, you give a buck or two, and I thank you with early episodes and a direct line to my phone. Hit me up anytime. Make sure you visit all the socials. Let's push this algorithm up, up, up. I don't know about you guys, but it's 80 degrees in Texas right now, while some parts of the world are covered in snow. I'm feeling pretty doggone swell, and I hope you are too. Episode 186 with the great and powerful Ali. Well, I really appreciate this, because I think I sent you an invitation last year. I'm not sure if you remember, but I fucked up, because I said Ali, whoop-de-whoop, big fan, signed Cello, and then my phone auto-corrected it to Ali, but it was spelled different. And then I hit send, and I'm like, shit, man, I sent an email, and I know that like misspelling your name is a cardinal sin, and I promise it wasn't intentional. But I didn't hear anything back, and I was beating myself up about it. So then from now on, I quadruple check my emails before I send them off. So this is like redemption for me, man. So thank you.
No worries, man. My name is Ali, and people misspell that shit. So
like what, the government version or like the moniker?
Yeah, the government version.
Oh man, because I was wondering like if the moniker version is like an SEO nightmare for you, like career wise. Like I wanted to know how old you were, so I googled Ali's birthday, and it gave me Ashley Simpson's birthday, and I'm like, what the fuck? Because the W in your name is replaced with an S, and they think that I meant to look up Jessica Simpson's sister, and I'm like, that's wild.
Nah, not quite.
Like, you know, if someone says, Ali, your music's cool, you might respond by saying word up, but you will spell it WRDUP period, which is not Googleable, which extends into the name of your songs too, the naming conventions, adding colons and parentheses and O's being zeros and periods. Like, what's the mindset behind that?
Just to switch it up, more or less, man. And
because I feel like an old white guy. Like, what, Little John, you say the word crunk and skeet. What's that all about?
it's to kind of trigger something in your brain, really, with the parentheses and shit like that. Like, maybe just to further the point that I'm making by naming it whatever it is.
Like, I guess if I'm trying to understand the lingo. For instance, if I ate a sharp ass sandwich last night with the shuriken bread, what kind of sandwich did I just eat?
A sharp ass sandwich with the shuriken bread. Yeah, I don't even know what you on, man.
You said that, bro. You tweeted that.
You might be revolutionary, bro. Yeah. Whoa, that was the whole tweet. Yeah. I need to stop tweeting, man.
Like anything that's cool, Vin Diesel's not his real name. John Wayne is not his real name. The monikers are cool. B Kool-Aid is a dope name, but I gotta say, like you and Siifu though, Ahwlee and Livingston, the Hood, Sherlock and Holmes, those are great. Those are great government names, man. Ahwlee and Livingston are on the case. It's a good buddy cop name. It works.
Yeah, that could slide. You're not lying.
Let me ask, do you still smoke a lot of weed?
Nah, I haven't smoked in maybe like 7 months.
What brought that on? Clarity?
Yeah, I've been smoking since I was in like middle school. I was like, I'm going to give it a whole year break and come back to it. If I'm fucking with it, cool. If not, just leave it alone.
Oh, how's it going so far? What changes are you noticing?
I have dreams, which I didn't have for years. I would just go to sleep and it'd be black. I got a bit more energy. Yeah, definitely a bit more energy.
That's interesting. When you got your first drum machine, it was given to you by your older brother. I assume he was trying to keep you busy, but he was not successful in that. All he did was create a normal smoke weed, make music routine for you that lasted 15 years.
Low key, man. It was actually his roommate, and not even his roommate, a dude who would crash at his crib when he was in college, and he just left it at my bro's crib. It got handed to me, and that was the rest. That was the rest of the story, man.
And this was all in California. You grew up in California. How was that?
Yeah, I grew up in Cali, but this was actually in Nashville. I lived in California until I was about 6, and then I moved to Nashville and moved back to California when I was 12. So I got that drum machine when I lived in Nashville.
So you spent most of your primary years like in schooling. All that was in California.
Yeah. From 7th grade on to graduating high school was in California. Yeah.
The high school, though, wasn't a traditional high school. It was like an art high school. Was this a recommendation by like a middle school faculty? Like, well, this guy's creative. He needs to go here. Or that was something that you like pushed your parents to go to?
Not even, dude. In 9th grade, I didn't go to school at all. Essentially, like I would get dropped off at school and then just go home. Like go back to the crib, and I had Reason at the time, and I would just fuck around on Reason till school got out, and then go hang out with my friends that did go to school. I went to that school because it had before it was an art school, it was like a school for bad kids and girls that got pregnant, and my sister had a kid when I was in 8th grade. ninth grade. So once my mom saw I wasn't going to school at all where I was at, she sent me where my sister was going. And that happened to be an art school. It just worked out that way.
You did all the hard work though. You got up in the morning, you got dressed, you rode to school, you're there, and then you go home. That's like a fat person putting on the gym clothes, going to the front door of the gym, and then being like, "Nah." But you're already there, man. You did all the work.
Yeah, I don't know what my trip was. I would be at school and just not go to class. Like I passed my classes, I could pass the tests and get to the next grade. You know what I mean? My teachers would be like, "Dude, why don't you just come to school?" And I don't know. I was just on some rebel shit at that time.
It's almost like a Key and Peele skit of a guy who hates being creative and is forced to enroll in an art school. Like I just want to play bass guitar all day. I don't want to be here.
Exactly. I was fighting it, but it actually ended up working out for me.
Like, I mean, you have to be wildly creative to, I noticed the One Piece movie. You kind of turn that into like lighters and all that. And you've been doing that for years and years and years with various mediums and old manga magazines. I mean, you got to be. No one else is doing that. That's wildly creative.
Yeah, I would. I actually found those when I was living in Nashville. I think my mom took me to like the World Market one day. I would always go to magazine section. Like I read, old Complex magazines, like when it used to be a magazine, you know what I'm saying? Double XL and all that shit, and video game magazines. And I saw those Japanese comic books. They was translating them to English, and I started reading those like maybe like 5th, 6th grade, and it just I never shook it.
So like if you make lighters and you wrap like a magazine or a movie poster, it has to be something that resonates with you, right? Like, so like the last One Piece movie, Red, like it had an impact on you, or is this just something that you use to, a sign of the times? Like, I'm just going to wrap this up.
I fucked with One Piece to an extent, but I've been fell off of One Piece. Like, I got homies that still watch it, and I know it's hella popular. That was really the main push beyond that, and I got gifted some art books from this cat in Japan. So I was like, I might as well make these lighters. I know people gonna fuck with them.
You had an old big cartel shop with some manga lighters that are still on there. When I tried to check out, it says there's no payment processor in the back end. I think I found an old shop.
Yeah. I stopped doing that big cartel shit a minute ago.
I tried to get into One Piece. It's an uphill climb because there's like 1,000 episodes and 15 movies.
Yeah, man, it's kind of OD. Like the story of it is dope, but it's getting taken down that kind of Dragon Ball Z kind of path where it's way too much filler and just random shit where I can't get down with it at this point. Like, I'll watch it when it's over, probably. You know what I mean?
I don't know if you want to take this responsibility, but you're almost like the type of person when people find out is into Square Enix RPGs and anime, it now becomes cool for them because you like it. You're that type of figure now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for it, bro. That's just what I always been on growing up, trading memory cards with the homie trying to get that gold chocobo. for anybody who knows what's up.
Yeah, because I mean, like for me, me and my friends we were fairly popular in high school, so we had a lot of friends who were like jocks. And if you had an Xbox or if you had a PlayStation back in the day, the only sociable acceptable game to play was an EA Sports game, NBA Street Madden. Now, and now I'd probably add Call of Duty to that list. But back then we would throw house parties, and out of the corner of the room you'd hear like, "Hey nigga, what's a Xenogears? What is this? What's a Legend of Legaia? What's a Jade Cocoon? Oh, that's some nerd shit. Is this yours?" And I'd be like, "Man, I told you to hide all the Chrono Trigger boxes and shit. We've been exposed." So that was what we were going through. We didn't have musical figures that like rapped about this stuff that we could relate to.
I played all that shit, and like I would play NBA Live like '97 because my bro had it like on Sega and shit. So I would play whatever I could get my hands on, and as soon as I learned about that shit, I was playing that shit too.
I remember we would walk the halls of high school, and Adult Swim came out, and you'd have people in the halls talking about like Outlaw Star and Samurai Champloo, and we'd be like, "Man, now it's socially acceptable to talk about this stuff, man. We've been into this stuff, So
yeah, man, it's always been rocking. Like I was a degenerate kid, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't like, oh yeah, if you knew me, you knew I was a cool dude, but it wasn't like on broadcast. I didn't have a Letterman jacket. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's, for instance, like the 1991 vinyl test press, there's, it's collaged, there's pop out art, it's 101, and there's only 6 in existence. So when you sell out of that, do you think it's going to people like the right people, the ones who appreciate the intersection of art and music, or do you go on eBay and see this shit being resold? Like what's your attitude towards this art? Because it's very personal. It's an expression of yourself.
I know that it's cats that cop it for, I think it's half and half. Like I know it's people out there that cop it just to sell it. I see my shit on Discogs or whatever, cats who got the first edition of whatever I did, and that's cool. And then I don't see certain ones too, so I'm like, all right, I know it's some heads that's like, yeah, you really tapping into what I'm fucking with, and it's certain people that's on some hype shit, and that's cool too. Hype me up.
But that's by design, though. Like if you release a vinyl that only has 100, you could have pressed 300, but you're catering to like a collector's market, right?
Yeah, cats who really want that shit. You know what I'm saying?
There's a music producer named Dutchie, and he said that you would make 5 beats before he was even done with 1. Do you attribute that to your work ethic, or you just put in your 10,000 hours so you know what you want done and how to do it? So you've streamlined the process of making a beat.
I'm just making shit, man, and getting it over with, bro. A lot of time you put a lot of extra shit on it when it's you already know what you want to do. Just do it. And when I was kicking it with him, he just be like, "Damn, bro," and I'm like, "All right, this is just how I work." That's how I always made shit. And even when I got that drum machine, like years after I got it, and I was already working on the computer and shit, I was still like get put on punishment for not going to school and sit on that drum machine and make beats on it. It was just the way it went.
So there's no listening to a beat from 10 years ago and saying, "Oh, I should have added this." There's no romanticizing about old beats. Like you finish it, release it into the world, move on.
Yeah, more or less. It's never like I should have added nothing. It is what it is. Like if I hear some people play me shit I did that I don't even remember doing, I'm just like, oh damn, that's cool.
I do want to highlight something though, because I do notice a trend when I hear people like, Siifu says that he rarely works with producers in person, but he likes working with you. And Dutchie says that you're inspiring to work with in person. Like people have a lot of respect for you. It's one thing to collab and get beats from you, but people really do have a lot of respect for you.
Oh hell yeah, man. I mean, I appreciate that, bro. working with cats that's on some straight internet shit is always been kind of weird for me, bro. Like, if I don't know you, then I'm not really trying to get down like that. Like, it's definitely happened, but that's not really my MO.
Well, so if I hang out with you for a week, what needs to happen for us to continue to have a relationship past that week? It has to be more than just sharing jokes and smoking or having common interests. Like when you meet Siifu, it's more than musical chemistry. When there's a moment you don't see eye to eye, where does the underlying respect come from where you continue to work together all these years?
I mean, that's really the moment where some shit can actually happen, bro, because disagreement to me is a reason to actually continue fucking with someone. Like when you can disagree on some shit and it be cool, like that's somebody that could actually be your quote unquote friend. Like somebody you just like everything is cool all the time. Like that's a problem for me, low key. Like I don't think that's how people work. You know what I mean?
Like I know that you guys met at Mind Signs. Let's say Ali, I recognize that you're a creative outlier. I want this podcast to be more than just me on the mic asking you what inspires you to create. I want to create a music podcast that's better than Questlove Supreme and is hosted by a non-celebrity. What can you and I do to create an extension of what you do? I want this podcast to be a part of the B Kool-Aid Podcast Network. What is the first step a creative like me would have to do to begin the collaborative process with you? If I initially hooked you in with an idea, what do I got to do?
Shit, you just gotta do your job, whatever it may be, and be doing it well. And be doing it to the point where I recognize that, and we good to go. Bro.
That seems simple, but that's also a rare thing to come across, I would imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, generally how I've been seeing music, and I don't know, people kind of playing out is not that, and it's like some sort of, I don't know, some sort of finesse a lot of cats is trying to run that I'm not with, and wherever they coming from, I'm not with. So I don't care if you hot or whatever. If I'm not feeling it like that, then it's not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes it takes a lot of trial and error to come to the self-confidence to come to that conclusion. Have you ever sold out, worked with somebody that was hot, and then it had a negative effect on either your mental health or your career for you to come to that conclusion? Or you're just a wise guy and you always knew that?
No, for sure. I definitely worked with people that was hot just cause, people that was not hot just cause, you know what I mean? When you do that kind of shit enough, hopefully, for me, I just saw that it wasn't worth it. You know what I mean? It wasn't worth it for what I'm trying to do. And if all fails, like, you know, I'm about to do what I'm doing regardless. So I'll just get a job, bro. If it comes to that, if it really comes down to like, nah, you have to do it like this. Like, you got to work with him. You got to wear this. Like, that's a job. So I could just get a job and do that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Because I'm noticing, so like you'll release a project on You Know Why, which is a German label. Then there's Rap Vacation. Then there's another one. Then now there's Lex Records. Are these labels having a hard time seeing eye to eye with your vision?
Nah, not at all. They recognize, for the most part, who I've worked with in that realm is recognized that it's gonna be whatever I'm doing. and whatever I see. And if they're approaching me because of that, you know what I'm saying? They don't, nobody's creatively directing me into any direction. Like, it's what I want to do. So that's what it's going to be. You know what I mean? Win or lose.
If you're going to do what you want to do, I'm curious how your mind works, because you could take two things that aren't really related to each other. Like, you'll see a scene out of The Simpsons and approach it like a record break. It'll only be like a 4-second long scene, and you'll use it to sample. Or you'll take an event.
Right.
Yeah, or you'll take an event like the Red Summer, like what are you looking for? Like, how do you apply the tension of an event or an animation or a magazine or a video game and find inspiration and apply it all to one core medium such as music?
Man, it's all my life. It don't really take me no effort to do that kind of shit, because it's always happening all the time. You know what I mean? I'm always hearing, I'm always thinking, and I'm always doing. So it's always going to come together that way. It's nothing forced about it. You know?
It almost sounds exhausting. Like the weed kind of like slowed everything down. Now, if you're always turned on and noticing all these, it's almost like you can't watch a TV show without trying to pay attention to like a good break, or you can't listen to a song. You know what I mean?
Nah, I mean, it can be exhausting, but I take all that into how you looking at what you're doing, because, being a man don't stop. Being alive don't stop until you're not alive. So it's like, once you welcome the work that you've been given the gift to do, why not just look at it like a gift instead of a curse? You know what I'm saying?
It's a good outlook.
Once you put your lens, once you change the way you're looking at what you're doing, then okay, it's like, oh man, now you're like, yo, damn, I can do this shit. Your worst day is like heaven to somebody else. You know what I mean? You don't really know what's going on out here. So be content with the work you got to do and do it.
Well, you and Snoop Dogg are kind of from the same area, and around the same time, you both dropped Kool-Aid projects. Is that a coincidence? It's not brown Kool-Aid, but I think it's kind of the same concept.
Shit, nah, I didn't even know that dropped, man. What he dropped for Kool-Aid?
Yeah, in 2016, he dropped an album called Kool-Aid, with a C, mind you.
Wow. Okay.
You might want to call your lawyer on that one.
Man, what's the deal? No, I had no idea.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, it had Battle Cat and a few other producers on there. It was a big project.
Oh yeah, shout out Battle Cat, man.
But I want to let you know that I called 9142 what's up, and I got a girl giving me the Martin what's up. I got the thank you for calling text. It's dope. Yeah. I felt like I was listening to like a radio station on Grand Theft Auto. It was cool.
That's fire.
Is that like, who thought it? Like, is that a successful campaign? Because as entertaining as it is, I got to be real with you. You got to call, and then when you call, you get a text, and then from that text, you have to click a link to fill out a form. It's a lot of barriers to entry. Are you finding the engagement with Leather Mobile? Is it clicking with fans?
Yeah, it's working, man. I mean, motherfuckers want something to do, man.
Yeah, that's true.
For real, and something like interactive on that level, like it hasn't been. You know what I mean? It's shit that's been missing. You know what I mean? So from what I've gathered from it, from what I've seen, it's working well.
Well, I was lucky enough to interview Steve Arrington on this podcast a few years back, and he's from Dayton, Ohio.
Oh,
the place of the Ohio Players. How did they influence this new record? Because I'd hate to call this new project a hip hop album, because it draws inspiration from soul, jazz, and R&B.
What? I mean, they've affected the album just by us listening to their music, man. I've been listening to their music since I was in middle school. You know what I mean? All these old acts and bands have played a big part in everything I do, regardless of whether it's conscious or not. You know what I mean? And I feel like Be Kool-Aid, this project in itself is more of an ode to that kind of energy.
So maybe we call it sophisticated hip hop.
Yeah, definitely in a way. You know, it's going off the path of straightforward hip hop. And to me, a lot of shit now is really sad. You know what I mean? A lot of not to say, you know, times ain't what they are, but it's just like, damn, you know, it's a lot of like trauma shit. And it's cool to work and make fun songs. Like this is Be Kool-Aid in itself, but even the shit I do on my own that I got coming, you know, with bars and shit is more along the vein of it being enjoyable music that, you know, I'm not taking you on this dark path through my pain on every song. You know what I'm saying?
How do you feel about award shows? Do you have aspirations to get a Grammy?
I can't say I don't want one. I don't, but I'm not really tripping, dude. Like, I want to make some music that affects that many people. You know what I mean? But it's not the end all be all of what I'm doing. You know, I didn't even really know the shit was coming on, the last one, until somebody I was in the studio with mentioned it. You know, like, oh yeah, we going to the Grammy party. Now I'm like, yo, asking them about it, like, yeah, well, these people want Grammys, so they going to this party. I'm like, yo, yeah, that's all right. Like, have fun, man.
You got to play the game, man. You got to show up to the events if you want to get nominated. I guess, you know, I asked myself, like, what is Silk Sonic doing that Be Kool-Aid ain't? Like, if you guys are flipping more genres to replicate that Cadillac parked in the Waffle House feeling, I think you guys are doing it better than them. And but it's music, you know. Pharrell's going to get 100 Grammys before the Dungeon Family. But when it comes to movies, you know, next week the film Triangle of Sadness is up for 3 awards, and ain't nobody seen that movie. You know what I'm saying? Movies,
man. Look, I searched the earth for someone who has seen that movie for months after I saw it, and no one.
Yeah, and that thing could win 3 awards.
I was literally just trying to, I'm trying to talk to anyone about this movie, and nobody watched it. But they've all seen the Avengers movie.
Yeah. So why do we cater to like the top 1%, top 40 radio in the Grammys, but movies, they celebrate the obscure? That must be frustrating.
I feel it. I think music is just a medium that works that way, you know. It's about how many people you can affect with what you're doing. And it's not saying, you know, people who win Grammys is not real musicians and nothing. Like, no, it's all real. That's good music. If it affects that many people, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But what's your aim? You know what I mean? What's your aim with it?
Well, I want to give you the floor to tell people what to look out for. Any Ali fans, what they can expect. I'll give you the mic.
You can expect more beats, man. I might get on this stream and shit, so you can fuck with me at any given moment. Working on a hella bars. Straight rap album coming soon. And, you know, more of the shit that you fuck with me with, I'm about to keep going. Ain't nothing stopping it.
Well, Ollie, I think you're a special human being, man. There's no doubt about that. And as a consumer, as a person on the other end of a conversation with you, I just want to thank you for sharing your gifts, your talents, and your time with all of us, man. Thanks for swinging by.
Hey, no worries, man. Thank you for having me, brother.